40, you're one of the casters. Stay at home Story Cup 4. And please say a word about when we'll know all the participants and tournament deals. Mate, I'm the B-Stream caster. I don't know anything. I'm not an organizer or anything, so I have absolutely no idea. You need if you want to ask that, you need to ask Take TV. They're the ones running the tournament. As we kick off in the bottom right side of the map, our blue Terran player from the Shopify Rebellion. It is going to be ByuN. On the top left, our red Zerg from Team NV. It is DRG. First map of this best of 3. So we have a drone already heading down to the south side to just get things underway. And yeah, just CDRG actually really scouting, really wanting to make sure there's no proxy racks in the early game. I mean, DRG has fallen victim to ByuN's proxy racks a good amount when they've played in recent history. So just being very safe right away, and especially on this map, ByuN does have a tendency to open a series on Romanticide with the proxy racks. I've seen that a lot of times from him in fact, so yeah, ByuN the one switching it up a little bit, in fact, and he will even SCV scout to make sure his opponent is going for a hatchery first. So moving this SCV out. It is obviously already a bit of a win from ByuN because DRG has committed a drone to scouting, so that's money he's missing out on. It will delay parts of his build by just a few seconds here and there. It's the sort of thing that just adds up that little bit. Just because it is such an early scout, it is so early in the game, it does have a fairly significant impact on the economy. Character down on the barracks, and we go straight to barracks number 2 as ByuN settles down into this higher racks count. So getting that set up as we do see the Overlord down through the center. Reapers coming across to the left-hand side. And a couple of Lings will make their way down here as well, trying to jump in onto the Reaper. Reaper going to push back, and they're doing alright, to be fair. This Queen is on the way up. A grenade goes down. That drone went sliding for a moment or two. I was just going to see that single Zergling. Still taking some hits. Queen coming back around, and the Reaper gets pushed out around the side. A third hatchery being placed, and a grenade going to bop the Queen off to the side again. And the drone actually will go down here. Going to drop a creep tumor down. Just going to be seeing that factory from ByuN coming up. Stimpack start, and we all know how the 2-1-1 works. We'll see how nicely it can do. Obviously, DRG does not have Overlords really in position to see this. The biggest tell for him is going to be, well, there's not really many Hellions on the map. Now, nowadays, Hellions or no Hellions can mean something like just a faster kind of like 8 Marine setup. You know, it isn't always a 2-1-1 nowadays when you don't see Hellions. So it's kind of in that way the 2-1-1 has more recently been powered up, has been able to take more of a stance in the matchup. This Reaper just moving around. Creep tumors will get to move forward at least. I don't think ByuN's going to be majorly upset about that. It's not easy to deny those creep tumors. Usually you want to deny the first creep tumor anyway. That's the one that really does slow the progress down. Denying one of these now when there's multiple queens out, etc. It's just a little bit less significant anyway. Now against a 2-1-1, you obviously want a drone. Usually to like, nowadays you can get to like 47, 48, 49 drones. You can get to that kind of higher work count and then just make units and be okay. You've also got to be very careful because the scariest part of the 2-1-1 is not the first 16 Marines. It's when that extra medevac shows up and you have a little bit more damage being done and the kind of aggression continues. That's when things really do become a little bit problematic as medevacs and Marines continue to produce. And that Stimpack going to be finishing up in just a few short moments. Again, that Stimpack completed. And that Queen just rallying up on the third base. This Overlord popping out. And yeah, combat shields coming through. The factory's going to land on a reactor and a couple of Hellions on the way. A Marine count is building. And these few Marines of ByuN looking like they want to go for a little bit of a push towards this Ling Queen force. Roach on the left coming through is hopefully just takes a little bit of damage. There goes the Marines stepping forward. Queen's kind of wanting to come through and to, keep those Marines back. Like I say, it's usually the next medevac that's dangerous. Now, look what's being done here. He's adding on Hellions and an Armory, so he's going to turn this into a Hellbat attack. DRG is going to be building Roaches, though, which is ideal against this. What isn't ideal is maybe the amount of drones, gas, Evo chambers, lair, all of that he's building. But if he does just build, like, a bunch of Roaches right now, he should be good. But he's actually going to be supply blocked, so you can't build that many Roaches, and he's still adding on drones. DRG is not aware of just how aggressive this next attack is going to be. The fact there's a few Hellbats to soak, 4 Roaches on the way. Does DRG just die here? I would make a pretty good case that I think he will. I mean, these Hellbats are like here meant to be like soak a few Baneling shots, etc. Or just tank damage in general. Yeah, ByuN's already going to stim. DRG is like, I'm out of here, bro. 9 Roaches building, but only 4 of those are about to finish. The rest are, really still going to be in production for a while. Queens will try and buy some time. The Hellbats will want to try and keep the Zerglings busy. Well, the Zerglings just melt. The Queens are melting. The few Roaches are out already melting. DRG was so greedy setting up against this. And again, he probably will hold this and clean it up eventually, but it's a massive clean out. It's an amazing trade for ByuN. And because it's only Roaches left, he's just going to start dropping in places, and he's just going to move these Marines around. And Roaches will not keep up with this very well. And obviously with the Queens all being dead, you still have 3 medevacs to transport these units, so there's going to be good healing everywhere. ByuN can really pick his fights, and at the moment he's just target firing down drones even. I actually don't like that as much as just kind of coming back around and trying to work your way into different positions, but I mean, who am I to complain? He's done great damage here, 8 drones on top of everything else. Now, the saving grace at the moment from DRG is that he really did make a lot of workers, so he's still on 61 drones. Like, his resources lost is terrible, but he still has a strong economy because he was just so greedy initially, so maybe that gives him some way to build back up. You see the supply being high, obviously he's been building Roaches, that's always going to inflate that supply a little bit as well. Now this is kind of a little bit crazy, honestly, as our units continue up to the upper left side. Marines loading into the medevacs, just going to escape away. The Roaches will pick off the rocks, so the rocks will fall, and just going to be seeing the Marines kind of wanting to continue through. Just going to lift up into the medevacs again, though. And away down to the south we go as our 2-2 upgrades on the evolution chambers are starting up. I'm even going to get a couple infestors as a priority. I mean, this is a setup where you want to go into lurkers, but I think prioritizing a couple infestors makes a ton of sense, because you're in that sort of position where you might need something like a money fungal to just help ease you back into this game. Double Zerglings going down, the drones still building as DRG finally going to get settled above 70 workers. A hive on the way up as well. And just going to be seeing these Marines unloading, a few links starting to go down. Again, our 1-1 upgrades, that +1 vehicle weapons, all of that setting up. A couple siege tanks still on the way through as well. These Marines are going to unload out over to that left-hand side, so they'll unload over here. Again, we will go on from here. Hydroden and a hive continue to build on up. +2 missile attacks and the carapace coming through. 2 Marines are going to get loaded up again. Just going to try and get into the natural as Roaches and Lings will start to make a move towards it. Army of ByuN is going to make its way around the left side, and I mean, DRG's always had a reasonable army supply. I think, that's something you got to admit to here, but is it good enough to fight this? Well, these tanks were in siege, so this is the terrible fight for ByuN. I mean, this is pretty much as bad as it gets, although he is demolishing these Roaches. Well, it took a while for to get rid of the tanks. They stayed alive a decent amount of time. That was, that was the worst fight, or one of the worst fights you could take for ByuN, and it was still okay, I mean, I guess a worse fungal could have maybe gone off. But, I mean, imagine his tanks were pre-sieged there. It's like, I mean, then the Roaches are dead before they do anything. Then the Ravagers have way more bio to contest with, and that's just, you just can't play from that position. I mean, it just doesn't happen, so yeah. Trying to think about moving up that ramp. Doesn't go for it just yet as everything moves back to the front. Bio army coming around the left side. A couple of corrosive files will just land, but not going too much here. Is just going to be seeing our Lings, our ROACH, our Ravages. Trying to make a move, and Overseer just getting shot down nice and quickly as we will load up a chunk more units. Going to go float them up into the natural. Some riskier plays here from ByuN. I mean, we are heading towards Lurkers being ready. Once Lurkers are done, we do have a bit more of a problem in this game as Fungals were decent. Most importantly, these Fungals delay the lift into the medevacs, and now you lost all those units. This is backfiring big time for ByuN. He is absolutely falling apart. And DRG is on his way to a Nidus, getting the seismic spines up. Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Just, yeah. Yeah, honestly, he did so much early. He was double resources lost ahead, but look how bad the fights have been for him since then. I think this sort of style from DRG really plays into the fact that ByuN really loves to just attack and never really stop. And he gets too aggressive, and this really was the case. He took some very bad fights since that opening. And the advantage for ByuN wasn't in like an economy or anything, because DRG was so greedy he still had an economy. The advantage for ByuN was how well he had already traded, and in theory against a Zerg you should keep trading that well, and that's where you're going to eventually overrun them. But if you start trading badly, then you're going to lose that advantage, and obviously that isn't fun, that isn't pretty. So you've seen our Vipers just going to be coming through, a couple of ducks going down on siege tanks. It's just going to be having all of our Lurkers burrowed up. I mean, all of these siege tanks getting picked away at the moment. DRG, I mean, there is another line of tanks that will hold at the moment. The Lurkers being picked away at. There's still a few left over as ByuN is taking damage on his third base. He can't let this orbital die. He's not in a position to afford that at all. Slowly trying to break his way out of this. He's got a couple ghosts so he can snipe. I mean, good to see him having made that transition, albeit maybe a little bit underwhelming considering everything else that happened here. Cleans this out, and that is going to be DRG, at least for the moment, pushed back. Losing all the Lurkers, we'll have to rebuild those. Kept the Vipers alive, however. Plus 3 carapace. Going to be done shortly as our melee upgrade is starting as well. Just going to be seeing a few ghosts gathering between the bases. Just chilling out a little bit. Tank's going to be resetting themselves. Obviously DRG is remaxed, but ByuN is on his way there at least. This last fight, a little bit better for ByuN. Again, DRG really kind of just bull rushed the third base, so... Yeah, it goes... Ooh, snipes, but also the tank shots. Getting a few kills. Here comes the next wave, so this is the question of, can ByuN defend another maxed out army here? I feel like it depends how DRG fights. If he wants to just rush in like he did just before, then yeah, he probably will defend, but it's obviously the depending factor. The Vikings stopped chasing the Overseer, which obviously just means that maybe it will survive again. Nidus, Marines will get it though, so obviously you want to defend your bases. You do not want to let that vision get into your main or anything, otherwise you are going to have Niduses, and that's, you know, something you have to split units away to deal with, and that's just a big problem in general. I was gonna say, that's an EMP waiting to happen, but these ghosts are absolutely on their own. The Lings are like, hello! Oh my goodness, all of these ghosts getting surrounded. He's trying to EMP the Vipers. He does EMP the Vipers. I understand why the ghosts out there. They're looking for some initial connections, etc., but, well, they just went too far on their own. It's alright, I think, lurking around with ghosts, but that was just beyond realistic, you know? If the ghosts had gone to, like, here, they would have been fine, but they were like here. They were truly gone through the middle of the map. Like I said, I don't hate it because he actually did find a couple of EMPs on Festus. He did find the EMPs on Vipers. But obviously you're not meant to lose all of your ghosts in that process. So that is pretty rough. I think Lurker will come around the right side. Even a few Banes morphing in. I mean, now your ghost count's been reset. You just don't have the comfort that you had in previous engagements. Ghost getting surrounded again. I mean, the medevacs come in to evacuate them, and maybe that was just what was missing before, some evacuation from medevacs, and that probably would have got the job done as the Lurkers just siege up right on top of everything. Snipes going down on the Overseers. A few Banes crashing into that planetary. That will go down. SCVs are falling, and this game is continuing to fall apart from ByuN step by step at the moment, just not going his way. As you have a couple of tanks going to siege up toward the front once more. Just gonna see a few more ghosts continue to build up as Ling, Lurker gets settled down over to the left-hand side. Planetary Fortress on the way up from ByuN, getting that set and ready. As our mules all dropping down onto this forward base at Command Center on the right-hand side. Festus kind of trying to lurk forward. He's like, is there detection? He's like, I'm okay for now. Just getting itself into position over here. ByuN just does what he can to re-establish control of the game, trying to get a 5th base up. He is still trading better than the Zerg overall, which obviously is a testament to just how much DRG is really running at this. That's the fungal. Oh my god, that fungal was massive, and the Lurkers get all of those ghosts. Just in case there was a way to survive here as ByuN. A fungal like that absolutely makes sure there isn't, and DRG will take game number 1. The top left-hand side, the blue Zerg player leading 1-0. And looking to make the semi-finals where he would play against Zest. It's DRG, and he's gonna 12 pool. I imagine 12 pool Ravager Rush. You don't see this every day, as in the bottom right, our red Terran player is ByuN from the Shopify Rebellion. If anyone was going to be aggressive here, I was going to say probably ByuN, and maybe he still will be. First SCV onto the map. Uh-oh. Okay, that was a little bit late in coming down. Okay. This is really weird. I think this is worst case scenario for ByuN, because it's going to be such fast roaches out of DRG. If this was just like say you're just trying to make like a 12 pool and make Lings, this is obviously probably not very good because you're behind on drones and the Marines can trade with the Lings, etc. I mean, you know, 12 pool is not very good against Terran anyway. But because it's racks that are forward, you're not going to be able to reinforce into your base very easily. The roaches are going to turn around the Marines. And I think ByuN is just killing himself through build order choice. I mean, who expects a 12 pool Roach Ravager rush? I say Roach Ravager, but it's just like a 12 pool Ravager rush. He's going to 3 racks. He's going to 3 racks a Reaper. Oh wow, I didn't even see the gas. But he's going to 3 racks Reaper from a forward position. You know, it sounds crazy. But with good Reaper control, it's not impossible to deal with this, actually. Like, it's not impossible. I guess, by the way, Reapers as well makes sense when you just consider the racks aren't actually really close to the Zerg's base at all. Okay, ByuN's going to find out very soon kind of what's happening. At least that will give him a heads up to get a bunker at home, etc. I mean, I guess you gotta... But what do you do? Because your production's in the middle of the map. He sees no hatchery. He's going to see the Ravagers. That's the first Reaper dead. This isn't good. I don't actually know what you do. He's going to keep building Reapers. He does start up that bunker. Yeah, he's going to actually lift the barracks and just bring it home. I think you have to, because you're just going to lose these racks or have your production camped anyway. They're useless if they stay in the middle of the map. I see grenades, just trying to buy some time. That was always a thing when ByuN used to 3 racks Reaper against a lot of the roach aggression in the past, that you would use the Reaper grenades to buy you time as these units came across the map, but this is such a fast attack across the map. Obviously, he will start to lose his depots here. He's already building 2 more, so he's already replacing what he is to lose. Factory building up in the main base as well. This one racks in the center did stick around to build one more Reaper, as we're just going to be seeing a few drones building up now from DRG at home. He's down by 7, so he needs to do damage here, but there's only 2 Reapers. He's building more Reapers. Why are we building Reapers still? Surely you want that gas for the factory? He's going to build a Hellion. If another Reaper shows up, a grenade goes down, loses 1 Reaper. He's going to get a Ravager on the top bottom side. 2 Reapers left, 2 Roaches and 2 Ravagers. 4 workers killed. Worker counts 18 to 16. He's got the surround. He loses every single Reaper, though. SCV count continues to drop. 10 workers killed. Oh, there's going to be so many workers before these Roaches are done. 14 SCVs dead. ByuN only has 8 SCVs remaining. It is a 1-base Zerg, though. I mean, it's a 1-base Zerg who's about to lose another Roach. 1-base Zerg, 1-base Terran. And 2 more Roaches have to build, so you are going to slow down some drone production. I actually really think like the Hellion was a mistake. I really feel like, what if he just made like a couple extra Marines and he got a tech lab going and he got like a Cyclone or so up already? Then he could really be substantially aggressive across the map. But now it just feels like you can't do anything across the map. At all. Reaper's just going to continue through to the upper left. Away they go. I mean, obviously there's a couple of Ravagers up defensively. Ravagers are nice because they have that extra range so they can hit the Reapers before the Reapers hit them. Wants to jump up here, but target fire wasn't even really there on the low HP Reaper. Jones is going to type out GG, and DRG is going to take the 2-0 to finish up this round of 8 matchup. I've kind of a fascinating final game.